Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, April 30th, 2013, and this is Day 9 Daily number 581, where we learn to be a better gamer. For some reason, my voice has gone out a little bit. I don't know why. It's not like I partied hard post Fun Day Monday. I primarily watched Alias, which is a really good show. But apparently, I guess the emotions were running hot, and now my voice is kind of like going out. But there's a real reason why I lost my voice, and it's from being upset. We'll talk about that in a moment. I just wanted to say that in today's daily, we're going to look at a variety of opening decisions, responses, and mid-game controls that we can use to beat biomine play in Zerg vs. Terran. So I asked my house manager if I could get a dog, and he said yes, because I've always wanted a corgi. But my roommate, his name is Huck. Not as in like E.G. Huck, as in his full name is Huckleberry. And Huck, well actually this is not a corgi. This is not the dog I want. This is the dog I want. Oh my god, the corgis. Oh, see, corgis are so cute. I mean, even when they're blown away, they're adorable. This corgi is actually a serial killer. Look at his eyes, but you just want to pet him. He's so sweet with his little stubby legs. Oh my god, corgis are actually triumphant. You can't actually tell this is off frame, but this corgi is actually rushing to help save a woman who's about to trip onto a sidewalk and bruise her knee. I mean, it's not like a serious issue, but I mean, there was an obstacle in the way of that dog. And oh, and they like peanut butter. Oh my god, and they're cute, and they have good senses of humor. They also play video games and are intellectual. Oh my god, he's so... I was looking at the... I was actually looking at corgis before the show began, so I kind of have a photo compilation of just awesome corgis. Look at these secret agent corgis. These are actually Secret Service. They're actually... The president is like 5 feet outside the frame. Oh my god, and they totally caused this to happen. Oh, he's a little player. I want to rub his tummy. Oh my god, and look at this one. He wants to try to stand in the pool. Oh, now this one's cute until you realize that you can actually see the animal's penis at the bottom end of the frame. So that's why we wanted to go to this one. It's video game corgi. Oh, and he's allergic. So, I'm thinking of, you know, like in Pulp Fiction, with like injecting like the adrenaline into the heart. I want to do that with like antihistamines that make him not allergic anymore, and do that every day, bam, like right in the heart. I'm sure he'll find that to be a fair compromise. So, so despite my devastation, I will carry on. There will be dailies all this week. Ugh. Friday, I'll be finishing Bioshock and playing probably another game. I'm thinking Thomas was alone. But head on over to day9.tv and let me know. There's a special game request you have for this week and next week. I'm not going to be playing any games on the 17th of May because I'm going to be at the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour being a powerful wizard. This is me. I'm casting spells. All the tokens. Oh, I'm just going to yawn. Today's daily was brutal to prepare, and in fact we're going to have kind of a weird structure for analysisizing anti-Widow Mind play. Here's what's on the docket. First, we're going to look at just the first 18 or so minutes of a game that's longer than that. And then we're going to look at the first 18 minutes of a different game, so we can get a sense of how the start to our Zerg play should function against biomine. And then part 2 and 3, we're going to be watching more of the mid-game type stuffs, looking at what are control mistakes we can make, what are cool control plays that we can make, and that sort of general stuff, how we play with our early hive tech. And we'll also look at some techniques to just do general interesting mid and late game attacks, because a lot of what we're going to talk about is biomine defense, but how do you offend against a biomine player? So we're going to do that, and then I want to hopefully wrap up by showing you a different opening that we can do that will still flow into the same framework. We want to establish a framework for defending against biomine, and then whatever opening you like to do, you can do. Oh, I don't know why I'm so tired. Maybe I just didn't sleep well last night. I thought I slept a lot of hours, but apparently not. Apparently not. All right. All right, bros. All right, listen up, dogs. Listen up, dogs. Okay, let me just. This is you. You're so cute. And this is you before you were up against biomine, and this is you now that you're against biomine, right? I want you to get back to this, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm saying. Let's talk about beating dear widow mine. Now, what are some techniques? What are some units? Let me try again. I could not believe how adorable you are. You're frickin' precious. It doesn't matter how much of a disaster this show winds up being. I have photos of corgis, and in fact, even hidden around on my video mixer, like on my break screen, I still have that sloth. He's still hanging out, ready to go. So we're equipped. We're in good shape. What do Terran players do in Wings of Liberty? Marine, tank, medevac. The big thing in there is the tank. The tank is especially good against banelings, especially good against roaches, and also forces the Terran player to chill wherever the tanks are, because the tanks are really the big defensive tool in all of that. Mines are not exactly a replacement for tanks. They're not power units against roaches. They're not really power units against banelings, just due to the fact that our zerglings can generally eat the mine shot. So suddenly banelings are a much more useful tool for staying alive, for thwarting some of these early threats. Even if they do have a lot of marine marauder and use the marauder to try to like get away from things. Truly, I want to just emphasize that all you really got to do against biomine in the mid game is de-emphasize mutalisks and de-emphasize infestors, and then emphasize lings and banelings. Because there's really no strong answer to that mix. The tank is now gone. Tanks are actually surprisingly good against zerglings, because your marines can sort of hide behind them, but now we just get to cuddle the Terran player with all our zerglings. We get to slide our arms around and cuddle him up till he's dead. So that is the basic premise I want to be working with. Now watch this. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to totally blow your mind. You adorable, unbelievably sweet creature, you. We've just made a very basic statement. You don't have tanks, so my ling-baneling is going to be a lot stronger. We're going to see a whole bunch of other things unfold as a result of that. I'm tired of having it on my face, so I'm just going to go to the game. Great. Listening to good music pre-show. I'm so sorry. This is actually Root Gaming's YuGiOh, and this is just some fucking guy, man. I don't even know who Terran is. But this is from the Root Gaming fundraiser replay pack. It has 220 replays of YuGiOh. So if you're looking for more stuff like this, go to rootgaming.com. So in this game, we're going to see a couple of things from Terran. For one, we're going to see one of the fundamental openings that is common in biomine, which is going to be Reaper into Hellion. And we're also going to see the standard transition from the Terran player into biomine. And it's essential that we note all the strengths and weaknesses of this play as we're looking through it. From YuGiOh's perspective, we're going to see also some very important to understand answers. So I'll be saying right now, a really common thing that we will see is 2 engineering bays. Our Terran player actually will build them here in this game. Double engineering bay for 2/2 upgrades and a push that happens around 13.5 or 14 minutes with 2/2 marines and marauders. So we as Zerg player want to start our Zergling upgrades early. And you might say, well, why Zergling upgrades? Because damn it, we said that ling-baneling are stronger in the mid game. Because you as Terran, you don't have tanks. We Or I should say he as Terran doesn't have tanks. We get to make ling-baneling. So we may as well get our upgrades up. And we may as well make sure that we are ahead of his timing. And Terran actually does have a pretty strict timing on that. They really can't get too faster than 1330. Or maybe 1315 if they're flash or something. Because if they try to get the engineering bays up faster, then they don't have enough Hellion Reaper at the front. So also as a corollary to this emphasis of a ling-baneling in the mid-game, we also want to make sure our creep spread is damn good. Because our ling-baneling will be able to wrap around and give them a good old zerg hug. So this is very typical, unexciting stuff. More Reapers coming up, the Hellions coming up, the Expo going down, another command center will be built soon. But first we're going to describe the basic goal for Yu-Gi-Oh! In the opening, which is, I get speed, sweet, so that way I can surround Reaper Hellion, but most importantly, I'm just going to expand whenever it is safe. If for some reason we were against an opponent who made no Reapers, we would just expand. But in this opening game, we are against a very aggressive opening. So we will be very cautious with that. The biggest thing for Zerg is conservation of units, not the killing of any of these. Yu-Gi-Oh! I think very intelligently pulling back, and doubly intelligently building these creep tumors not at the fringe. He wants to build them back a little bit from the fringe of creep, so that way his queen can be here, preventing these dudes from getting in the way. This is a very risky target for the Terran player to hit. What? Wow! Already sweet. Notice that everything that I'm going to say is going to come from this simple statement. He doesn't have tanks, so we're going to go ling-baneling in the mid-game. So we need creep. So this really brilliant placement of the queens, creep tumors back. All works together. All really smart. Wow, a third queen. Why is that? Well, we want to make sure we can spread that creep. So that's great that we killed off the Reaper, but it is not our goal to kill off the Reaper. It is our goal to take no damage from the Reaper and permit us to expand as quickly as possible. Generally a good time to say, hey, when should I expand? Should be about 6. About 6 is when these Hellions should be popping out. There's like a little lull in the action. If they do open a Reaper, 6:15 is about when Hellions 1 and 2 arrive. So we have this little lull where we can like, ooh, sneak a little bit of an expansion. Yes. At 6 minutes, also, as we're getting our expand, second gas geyser. Very delayed on the gas. I'll actually come back to 5:30 so we can look at that a little bit more explicitly. Only 100 gas mined. Everything sort of kicks into gear at the 6-minute mark. Why is that? Because we're emphasizing ling-baneling. We are de-emphasizing the going of layer tech. So we don't really care that much about mutas. In fact, our mutas are going to be mainly defensive. So there's 6 minutes, put dudes in gas, 6 minutes, take the extractor, 6 minutes, throw down the expansion. It's just a nice time. There's some injects that pop off right around now, so we can exploit that. Come on, voice, stay with me. Maybe I'm just getting ill. Or maybe I'm going through puberty again. Either way, it's going to be a rough ride. So cool. I just want to notice the position our Terran buddy is in. He's just started stim, which he obviously should be starting quite swiftly. He's got his 4 Hellions. He's actually waiting for Hellions 5 and 6. He actually doesn't even have this geyser. He doesn't even have this orbital command done. He needs 150 just to be able to start it into an orbital. These engineering bays should not ever be started earlier than 7 minutes, which means these 2 upgrades from each of them should not ever start earlier than 7:30, which means that 2-2 cannot really possibly be done anytime earlier than 13:30. 13:30 is an important damn time. 13:30. Cool. 1330. It's a good old time to know. Good old 1330. So nifty. It makes sense that we're throwing down our evolution chambers at 7 minutes so we can start our upgrades, because it also takes us as Zerg 6 minutes to from the start of 1-1 to the completion of 2-2. So we're noticing little things like the layer was built whenever we had the gas to. These Vespene geysers are not even taken yet. And also around the time that we start these evolution chambers is the time we construct these zerglings. Which seems like kind of a funky thing to do. However, I will use the worst argument in the universe. Think about it. Why does 7:30 or 7 minutes make sense? Because this is when his Hellion count is starting to pick up, if he is going for Hellions. So we want some way to be able to have our speedlings arrive at our third base. So as we can see, Hellions getting ready to move forward. We don't really need to do it too much sooner than that. We want to get our drones up. If he is starting to be really aggressive against this, we might start at 6:45 or 6:30, but we don't really need to do it. We can just let our hatch fall to a third life and then just freaking demolish all this stuff with speedlings. But this is a nice time against Hellions. What if he's not going Hellions? What if he's going something like mines? No problem. We still have the Zerglings out to be able to do things like bait mine shots, and we're almost at our layer tech, so we can have detection. Actually, if he's going Widow Mines, or if he's doing anything but Hellions, that would be mines, going 2 racks Marines with upgrades, going for siege tanks. We have some Zerglings that we're using as simple map control. Just to lock things in, and we haven't really expended that much. So obviously these lings from YuGiOh will be used to try to pick off some of these Hellions, that sort of thing, but it's not necessary to kill them off. Startail Life does flood an extra round of Zerglings to get around 40 to completely decimate this. Now you might be saying to yourself, okay, he could be going for you might be saying to yourself something. What is it that you might be saying to yourself? Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. You might be saying to yourself, yeah, okay, I know how I want to say it. Yes, I figured it out. The Zerglings that we build, we can go lifestyle and overrun and crush this. And in that circumstance, what huge benefit do we get? We get to spread a ton of creep. We're at the 8-minute mark. We have a whole 5.5 minutes to spread the creep before he can really start being aggressive against us with 2-2. So that's going to help so much. And if he isn't going Hellion, he can't stop our creep spread at all. So we're totally going to spread our creep and still be using our ling-baneling very, very effectively. The one issue we might have is against Banshees. Banshees will hurt us a good bit, but that's actually okay. Because in this circumstance we have a couple of queens, and we can revert back to something a little more normal, such as getting up a spire more swiftly, focusing on the mutilisks, as we would in a typical kind of game. A typical Wings of Liberty kind of game. Since this is not a typical Wings of Liberty kind of gameplay, to be going for this biomine style against a more Hotsy type player, 4 barracks pop down about now, and Combat Shield follows this up swiftly. So, remember why I said 7:30 is a good time to get these lingies up? So that way we can start holding stuff off. YuGiOh is getting extra queens. He actually has 2 in production, 1 at his natural, 1 at his third, and even has 1 in the main. YuGiOh is replacing the huge number of lings that Life would get to overrun these guys with queens. Notice how both mass Zerglings to overrun and kill the Hellions, or mass queen still tries to accomplish the same 2 tasks. Kill the Hellions, get the creep spreading. The Zerglings are a more indirect way to do it. You kill it off so he can't deny the creep spread. Queens are a more direct way to deal with it. You're killing my creep, so I'm going to get more queens so I can make more creep. So creep, creep, creep is really, really, really important to us. So, oh no, wow, this layer's done. We actually don't even have any spires going down. Totally okay. I mean, there's not really a big need for our spire tech to pop up. If we do get a spire, we're definitely not going to do any damage to him because he's going to have mines and marines, so that just slaughters naked mutalisks. Or I should say more specifically, unsupported mutalisks. Just decimates them. So we don't really need that. Baneling Nest is actually the priority number 1. So that way we can get Baneling speed started as quickly as possible. Because any push before 1330 is going to be a 1-1 push with Marines. Won't be particularly strong. His Marine count won't be particularly high. A good benchmark time is that if he is opening with this sort of Reaper Hellion type business, he only actually kicks into Marine production at like 11 minutes. I mean, he's going to have like almost no Marines. So you're noticing there's some key times I keep saying. Like 6 minutes is when we start doing some interesting things with our tech. A zerg, more gas, expand. 7:30 is when his upgrades should begin. 7:30 is also when his Hellion threat should be at its peak. And then 11 minutes is when his Marine production should really be in full swing. So as a zerg player, you should be thinking in your head, oh geez, 11 minutes is a long time to be up against an opponent who really only has some Hellions. These are some critical units. Again, you can see why Startail Life enjoys flooding out 40, sometimes 50 lings just to kill off these dudes. Either way, Spire goes down. All the other geysers go down at the same time. We're way behind with gas as Zerg, but that's okay, because our answers to these upgrades are mineral-based. Now, here we will see one of the edges we get. It's always important to know where your edge comes from as Zerg, and the upgrade edge is a significant one. Centrifugal hooks. Burrow is another very good one. You can force some extra scans in places that he does not want to be scanning. Why is this good? Well, gosh, the creep is a huge tool for us. Have you heard me say the creep enough? So if he's spending scans to find burrowed units, he's not spending scans to kill off creep. Cool. But the first edge comes right about 10 minutes. When our upgrades finish and his upgrades finish, any delay by either player is the edge lost. So we see this this Terran player who just overbuilt mines. I actually think he has a few too many mines at this point. Has hindered his ability to get these upgrades up. And whoopsie daisies, forgot his armory, so he was a little bit behind. But YuGiOh is on point with that stuff. Starts his Carapace upgrade quite swiftly after this one ends up wrapping up. So, there it is. There's the 2-2 upgrades. Yeah! And you'll notice that rather than go into any ultra specifics, 11 minutes is about a time. I'd say it's okay to lean towards 11:30 or 12. 11 minutes is about the time when you want to have some Zerglings. Why? Because his Medivacs will be out. They actually should be out. Does he have any? Generally, Medivacs should be out about now. But at the very least, what did I say? 11 minutes is right when his Marine production can kick into gear. This dude has 8 Marines, man. Biomine players, a lot of vulnerabilities at the start. Actually, yeah, that's a good place to stop there. It's a good place to stop. When we come back, we'll just continue to watch another 3 or 4 minutes of this game, and then we're going to completely abandon this one and hop into a game between YuGiOh and Pult, and look at how Zerg would be playing under the circumstance of almost no attacking at the start. This game had quite a lot, so stay tuned. Yeah, all right. On a break.